What's up, people? I believe this is the sixth part of my journey to show you guys all my DVDs that are wrestling related, especially most of them all WWE, WWF stuff that I've collected over the years. Of course, physical media for me is the most important thing in the world. Way better than streaming. I do have the WWE network. I play it on the PlayStation all the time. It's more convenient, I know, but to me, I like to own the physical media copy. And not only that, but on the WWE network, they don't show you the complete stuff, like the complete materials and stuff. And I like to own the entire box set, and it has more footage and more matches and more. It's not as edited as the versions that they do have in the WWE network. Anyways, here I'm going to start off with the King of Kings. There's only one set. The King of Kings, Triple H. And this is a 2-disc set on DVD here. And it contains a bunch of, cool matches. Very simple set. 2-disc. It doesn't... I don't know if it ever had a booklet or anything, but I don't remember having a booklet. I bought this a very long time ago. It runs at 6 hours, 2 discs. From what I see here in the back, it has the 2 out of 3 falls match with Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight Championship in 2002. It has the King of the Ring match in 1997 versus Mankind. It has the 30-man Battle Royal in 2002. It has the John Cena versus Triple H versus Edge match from 2006. It has a no-holds-barred match for the WWE Championship against Stone Cold Steve Austin from 1999 from the pay-per-view No Mercy. I'm a big fan of Triple H. A lot of people don't take him serious, or a lot of people don't like him because he's like, part owner of the company. He's the COO of the company and stuff, and he's married to Stephanie McMahon. But I do believe that he's well-deserving of the legacy that he's had. And I think he has a lot of great championship reigns. There was a moment where he was the champion for like a year or maybe more than that, and that was pretty good for that era. So definitely he's still in pretty good shape, even though he's like 48, 49 years old. He's in great physical shape, and he's still having cool matches. However, Triple H is not the greatest of all time, and he's definitely not the King of Kings. But he's a pretty good wrestler, decent wrestler, pretty good entertainer, excellent on the mic, and definitely a pretty good set to pick up. I also have here Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. This is a special 2-disc set here on the career of the Ric Flair and the Horsemen. I don't know why they even called it Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. It should just be called the Four Horsemen, because Ric Flair is part of the Four Horsemen. But I don't know. I guess for selling point, I guess it has the name Ric Flair on it. So I guess he just slapped the name Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen to sell more. And it's a 2-disc set explaining the lifetimes of the faction. So yeah. Chapters, a lot of chapters, a lot of extras, as you can see if you want to pause and read all the chapters and the extras that it has. It's packed with a bunch of stuff here. Of course, my favorite incarnation of the Four Horsemen has got to be the one with Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, and Barry Windham. I think that was the greatest, and that's actually the one that they have in the cover here. I believe that was the best Four Horsemen group. Has here Flair discovers Arn Anderson, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew reborn, the champions Tully and Arn Anderson leave, troubled times Ric Flair and Precious, what happened at War Games, Arn and Tully the tag team. When Lex Luger left the Horsemen and Barry Windham joins, Jeff Jarrett, Arn Anderson's retirement, the NWO and Eric Bischoff, the Four Horsemen of 1998, Ric Flair versus Steamboat, Sting, Sid Vicious, Ric Flair leaves and then returns, Arn and Sid the confrontation, Has a lot of cool stories, a lot of cool chapters, and it has a bunch of matches as well. So definitely one of the cool matches here is the Four Horsemen versus Dusty Rhodes, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Lex Luger, Nikita Koloff, and Paul Ellering as a manager at the Great American Bash of 1988. That was a really good matchup. And Arn Anderson versus Ric Flair, Fall Brawl 95. Really good set. I highly recommend this if you guys like the Four Horsemen and Ric Flair. It's definitely it fulfilled the time flew by because I'm very interested in the past, especially when it comes to for the Four Horsemen, my favorite faction of all time. Then I got a simple pay-per-view here, WWE Vengeance, or WWF, still called WWF Vengeance. This is so cool how they used to have this, the home video booklet here, with a bunch of their catalog DVD sets and stuff. I thought it was really cool. So yeah, so this is Vengeance from what year is this? 2001. And the main event here was the final championship match to determine the undisputed champion, which was Chris Jericho versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. It also has Chris Jericho versus The Rock. It has Rob Van Dam versus The Undertaker in a hardcore match. It's kind of weird. Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy with the special referee Lita. The Intercontinental Championship between Edge and William Regal. It has The Rock versus it has Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kurt Angle. That's a cool one. And a bunch of other matches. It has a Tag Team Championship match. Big Show and Kane versus the Dudley Boys. It has Scotty 2 Hotty and Albert versus Test and Christian. So yeah, man, pretty cool pay-per-view here in 2001. Here I have the history of the WWE Championship. Now this is very similar to the one I showed in the previous video here I made. This one, the one I made before was talked about the entire history of the Intercontinental Championship. This one talks about the entire history of the WWE Championship. And I like this set because it kind of looks like a book type of thing, and it has when you open it up, it has a bunch of it has 3 discs, but they show you they explain what's on them, and it goes way back to disc 1. Ivan Koloff versus Pedro Morales from the WWF Championship from 1971. Bruno Sammartino versus Killer Kowalski from 1974. Bruno Sammartino versus Superstar Billy Graham from 1977. Billy Graham versus Bob Backlund. The list goes on into the Hogan years. Hogan versus the Warrior. Bret Hart years. Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. Shawn Michaels versus Mankind. And then it goes all the way up to the Triple Threat match from 2005. That was at Vengeance 2005. John Cena versus Chris Jericho versus Christian for the WWE Championship. And yeah, it's a really cool set, and it pretty much explains the history of the most prestigious belt in wrestling, which is the WWF or WWE Championship, which is now currently held by Daniel Bryan. So that's pretty cool. I picked this at Walmart for a very cheap price, and this is Stone Cold Steve Austin, the bottom line on the most popular superstar of all time. And this is the definitive Stone Cold Steve Austin biography. This is a 4-disc set, as you can see, and I have not opened it yet. I haven't seen it, so I don't really know. I don't think it's on the WWE Network, so I definitely gotta watch this. It runs 10 hours, and it talks about his rivalries against, of course, Vince McMahon, Bret Hart. I think the Vince McMahon Stone Cold Steve Austin feud was amazing. I lived through it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was great. The chemistry those two guys had was fantastic. And yeah, man, it really, I think Stone Cold Steve Austin really changed wrestling and its attitude. Awesome wrestler, awesome set, I bet. And I highly recommend it if you're a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. I haven't seen it, so I don't really can recommend it, but I'm pretty sure it's packed with cool stuff here. I gotta I need the time to see all this shit. One that I didn't see was one of the first ones, early ones I got. And this is Jake the Snake Roberts Pick Your Poison DVD set. It's a 2-disc set. But the cool thing about this is that it also has a booklet. Oh, this is so old. It's kind of hard to take out here. There. So yeah. So here it goes. It has the 2-disc set and Pick Your Poison. This is basically explaining people how Jake the Snake Roberts got into the wrestling business, how charismatic he was, how great he was on the microphone, what a great villain he portrayed. Honestly, one of my favorite heels of all time, Jake the Snake Roberts. I liked him way better when he was a bad guy. When he was a good guy, he was like, whatever, he was just a guy. But when he was a bad guy, man, he was villain. He played it amazing. And then this is just a book here, that it came with this book here, and this is just talking about superstar Billy Graham and shit. So yeah, it's called Superstar Billy Graham Tangled Ropes. It's good to be king sometimes, and listen, you pencil necks. So it has parts of these 3 books that were gonna come out when, back in this time, I think in the early 2000s, because Superstar Billy Graham made a book, so it has some parts of it, and then Jerry the King Lawler had a book, and then this is the Freddie Blassie book. So it has like, cool like little different pages from the books and shit, like little samples of it. So yeah, this set is really, really fantastic with Jake the Snake. I don't know if there's a lot of Jake the Snake fans out there, but I have no idea how this guy's still alive, man. This guy, he was heavy into drugs, he was heavy into drinking, and he still, I guess thanks to the DDP yoga that he's on with DDP. But yeah, man, really cool set. Jake the Snake Roberts, awesome wrestler. Not great wrestler, but he had this great mentality for the business, and he was very, very great on the microphone. He had great mic skills, and he knew how to get people's attention. I highly recommend this. Really cool set here from Jake the Snake. I got here the Best of ECW Championship, ECW Wrestling, Volume 2. This is unreleased matches that they've never come out with. It also has a bunch of fan cams, which is pretty cool. It has Cactus Jack versus Terry Funk from 1984. Really cool stuff on this set. It's 3 discs, and over 7 hours. Here you got Rob Van Dam. You got Chris Candido and Lance Storm versus Sabu and RVD for the tag titles. Has over 20 matches of unreleased matches that you've never seen before, and most of them like house matches, and definitely a must watch for any ECW fan out there. This one I picked up because it was $3.99, but I haven't even opened it. I'm not sure. I think I did see it on the WWE Network, the edited version. This is called True Giants from the WWE, and what it is like they're basically talking about big men in wrestling, like Big John Studd and Mark Henry, Andre the Giant, and all those people. And it has 7 matches, a bunch of promos from these big guys, and also it has a bunch of different matches. So 3-disc set. And they're only talking about the big dudes, the big guys, Vader, Yokozuna, Big Show, all the big guys that wrestled in the WWE. Pretty cool piece of history if you guys are into big giants. And this is a really good set. And this is the Macho Man Randy Savage, the Randy Savage story. My second favorite wrestler of all time. I'm so happy they made this. And this is a great set. Look at those pictures. Epic. Flying Elbow with Miss Elizabeth here. This is a 3-disc set and covers a lot of classic matches and classic moments from the greatest Randy Macho Man Savage. Got here Macho Man versus Shawn Michaels from 1992, Macho Man versus Roddy Piper, versus The Warrior versus Ric Flair versus Orrin Anderson versus Ted DiBiase versus Bad News Brown versus Hulk Hogan versus Bruno Sammartino versus Ricky Steamboat twice. And it also, of course, disc 1 is packed with awesome interviews from his, friends and family members and all that stuff. Has featuring, Lex Luger, Hulk Hogan talks about him, Kevin Nash, DDP, his brother, Lanny Poffo. Really cool set from the Macho Man, Randy Savage here from the WWE home video. Runs over 7 hours. Macho Man, you can't go wrong with that guy. I got here the greatest cage matches of all time. This is a 3-disc set. And of course, it's going to have the best matches that were held in a WWE cage format. It has matches here: Triple H versus The Rock, Randy Orton versus Ric Flair, Bruno Sammartino versus Larry Zbyszko from 1980. That match was really good. Bob Backlund versus Jimmy Superfly Snuka from 1980. Another awesome match. WrestleFest from 1988. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. These were all in cage matches. So definitely the greatest cage matches of all time. Featuring WWE, NWA, WCW, AWA, WCCW. They don't hold back here. This is a really good set. If you guys like cage matches, I highly recommend that. And last but not least, I have here the Best of Monday Nitro Volume 2. These are just highlights and a bunch of matches from the best that ever happened in Monday Night Nitro. This is Volume 2, 3-disc set. Runs over 7 hours with a bunch of matches, a bunch of promos, a bunch of interviews. And, just stories about people that lived it, people that were in the company at the time. And I'm happy that the WWE released this, even though it's WCW and they never really liked WCW, but they gave this to the fans to have. It's a pretty cool set. You guys haven't seen it? Go out there and buy it. Until next time, guys, I'm running out of time. I gotta go clock in. I gotta go to work. See you guys later. Until next time, bye-bye.